What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Josh Reese, coming at you again with another video today. But before we get into it, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe. And yeah, that's all I ask. So today I wanted to kind of talk about the OAT again. So for those of you who are unaware, the OAT is the Optometry Admissions Test, and it's basically the same thing as the DAT for dental school. A little bit different in some ways, but very similar to tests like that. The MCAT, GRE kind of, ACT, SAT type standardized test. So with the OAT, I want to talk about the best way that you can handle yourself to make sure you get the best grade. Now, this is a little different than study tips. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the mentality going in that you have to make sure that you don't get caught off guard and fall right into the trap they want you to fall into with the study anxiety or the test anxiety. So I'm gonna kind of describe how the testing center is. So the way that it's set up is it's set up like a lot of other standardized tests, and it's outsourced to another testing center, right? So these testing centers, can't even remember what they're called, but they're about a few of them in every state. Every major college town will have one, and they're just kind of around. Now, the one that I went to, there's about 20 computers in a room, each divided by little cubicle walls, and provided are noise-canceling headphones. And yeah, you're basically there with your computer, and that's it. Now, when you walk in, I was there during COVID, so there's probably precautions that aren't there, but there's a room that you have to stand about 6 feet apart from everybody, and there's cubbies that you can put your stuff in, like your phone and your keys, and then you go ahead and sign up at the front. And once you're at the front, you show them your ID, they pass it, you do a double check, so another person verifies your ID, and then make sure you have nothing in your pocket, nothing up your sleeves. Like literally, they kind of made me roll down my sleeves and make sure there's nothing there. And then they let me through. Now, they keep one ID. I think you have to bring two. They keep one ID, and you have to make sure the second is face up next to you at all times. So yeah, that's kind of the test environment that's there at the Proctor Place. Now, you can there is a break in the middle. So there was a spot in the middle where I could get up, go to my cubby, even have my phone, and have like a 20-30 minute break for lunch. So make sure you bring a snack. Something to eat, something with, natural sugars or even fake sugars to keep your brain neurons pumping, everything like that. And yeah, and then you can take as many bathroom breaks as you need, but I wouldn't suggest taking too much. I know that day I was very nervous, and I actually probably once every section went to the bathroom once. And so yeah, they might have thought I was a little suspicious, but I just really had bad test anxiety and that made me not need to go to the bathroom more than I should have. But so yeah, if you do need to go to the bathroom, don't freak out. They're not gonna say anything, just go to the bathroom and come back. So why am I saying all this? Well, just to be able to prepare you mentally. It's actually very important that you're ready to know what it feels like in the testing environment. because like I've mentioned before, 90% of this test is getting over mentalities. It's not testing at all how smart you are, how much you know biology, chemistry, anything like that. It's really whether or not you can keep the same doctor type mentality of thinking through problems in stressful environments. So the environment is going to be pretty stressful, but don't make sure that doesn't you don't let that phase you. My biggest advice for preparing yourself mentally for that is doing practice exams in an environment that's pretty similar. So go to a library or on campus somewhere that's going to be pretty quiet. That's just going to be you and the test. No headphones, listening to music, things like that. And once you are there, go ahead and do practice exams. I'd say that's the number one thing I could tell you to help you in the exam time is do 2 or 3 practice exams a week and a half leading up to the exam. The last week or so, I'd say, if you're following a study schedule, don't go over, reading, don't go over science, just take your exams. That's the number one thing that will help you, is just taking practice exams and reviewing your problems, seeing what you did wrong, seeing how you could have thought through that problem differently. I've mentioned, you make sure that when studying for specific sections, make sure you study with a group, because they'll be able to help that mentality, help you walk through a problem differently than you would have thought. When you put 3 heads or more together on a problem, you're more likely to walk through the problem and get it correct, especially for problems like the OAT, where they're not hard. They're really just there to help you think like a doctor. And the more heads you have conquering a problem, the more you will be able to come out successful and keep those mentalities with you as you go into the exam environment. So make sure that about a week before, I'd say just, say, okay, I know these subjects as well as I'm going to know them. Let's take some practice exams. Now, the thing about practice exams, at least for the OAT, is the problems they have released, for example, on the Kaplan website, or if you're doing Crack the OAT, something like that, they're past problems that were on the OAT. So when you take these practice exams, you're going to be walking through real OAT problems taken by real people in the past that will definitely help you have the right mentality going into those exams and help you think the way you should be thinking. And make sure that environment's similar, that you take it paced out, section by section, the order of the sections that they're doing, so you kind of are prepared for it. One thing is prepare also for it to be a little different than the practice exams too. I know one thing that threw me off was that the test, the reading portion of the test, I was prepared for there to be only 2 reading prompts with questions about it, and there were actually 3, so I paced myself a little wrong, and that actually came out to be my worst section because I was thrown off a little bit. So make sure you take enough practice exams that you're familiarized enough that even if it changes a little bit, you won't be thrown off. You can still think on your feet. Well, those are kind of my thoughts about how you should prepare your mind and your body to really be in that testing environment. I'd say, don't be like me, be better than me, because I was so scared the day before the OAT that I couldn't go to sleep until about 3 a.m. the night before. So I only got about 3-4 hours of sleep before I took it in the next morning, and I would have loved to have a good night's sleep beforehand. So don't be me. Go ahead, prepare weeks in advance. with similar testing environments, going through those practice problems before that, but making sure the few weeks before the exam that you are really prepared for how it will feel and how you can think through those problems and really be acclimated to the testing environment, so you don't lose sleep the night before and you can really power through the OAT. Now, that being said, I know that this works because everybody in my testing group did somewhat of the same thing, and we were all able to not only get above average on the OAT, but get into the optometry schools we wanted to, and 2 of us actually getting within the 90th percentile in almost every category. So you can do this. Make sure to prepare mentally for the OAT, almost just as important as preparing for each section, scientifically and mentally, or academically. Now, good luck on the OAT. You've got this. I know that if those of you who watch videos like this are those of you who care enough to actually do well. So, if you're watching this, don't worry, don't fret. Most of the people don't even get resources. So, if you're doing this, you're better than most. Good luck out there. See ya.